Hello everyone, welcome back to the one more session of the concept of management information system. In this session, we would like to continue with the discussion with respect to the topic called decision making. So in the previous session, we have discussed about what do you mean by a decision, what is the significance of decision, and what is the key role that decision would play in an organization. And also we have seen about the various decision concepts. Then we have come across the rational decision making, that is the logical reason of making a decision in order to achieve the success. Next, when we talk about rational decision making, we have also discussed about the various problems pertaining to making a decision as a rational. Next, we have seen about the decision making process itself. We also call it as Herbert-Simon model, which is an important model also called as decision process system. Next, we have seen about decision system with respect to various types of decision making system based on the managerial's knowledge. And also we have seen types of decision, that is a open decision, closed decision system, etc. And we have seen about methods of deciding the decision alternatives, whereas that is the payoff analysis and the optimal solution. And also we have discussed about the decision analysis by various analytical model, and we have seen lot of behavioral concepts with respect to the decision maker, that is a manager. How does the various moods or various knowledges or various life cycle with respect to the decision making process pertaining with respect to manager and its individual behavior in the organization. Now, let us move into the one more topic called organizational decision making. As we know already, decision making is not an easy task. It's a very complicated task. So in an organization, there is an arrangement of individuals. When you call it as an arrangement, we have individuals with respect to different goals, with different caste, different properties. When you say properties, from various culture, various inhabitations, and their various knowledge level. So all these things matters while making a decision. And secondly, each individual enjoys a different power in an organization. So one person might be having a topmost position, and some person might be having some position in the middle level, whereas the other person in the better considered, it might be in an operation level or in the lower cater. Each person has its own powers in the organization based on the position and the designation. So each person enjoys his own positions. So when you talk about enjoy, it's the privilege of executing the decisions. So again, this matters. So when you talk about the different positions, so positions are the decisions made at the top level should be acceptable by everyone, whereas a decision made by at the lower level or the bottom level or middle level might not be always acceptable in the organization by the top management. Then there would create an imbalance or difference of opinion between the different levels of the management, so which causes a failure in respect to the execution of a decision. Though the other persons in the organization may say yes, but if there is a difference of opinion, the execution of the decision would not be a success, or even in spite of executing, it would not yield much result as expected. So these are the different things that causes the various variation with respect to the organization decision making. In continuing this, so whenever we talk about decision making, mainly we concentrate on the organization's goals. Each and every person in an organization, whether it might be a top management, middle management, or a lower management, or an operational one, they are bound to process or execute the task in order to achieve the goals. But in some cases, as I earlier said, there are different peoples, different individuals with different position. They enjoy different powers and they execute their power in a different way. In a similar way, different departments have their own characteristics goal. So when they give up more importance to their departments or their functional units rather than the goals of an organization, again it would create imbalance with respect to the decision execution by the various departments. Where one organization in the department mainly focus on the organization goal, whereas other manager in any of the department mainly focus only is department's goal, is not bothered about the organization goal, then there would be no continuity in the organization. Second, these inconsistencies would be affecting the organization with the overall performance. So it is very important to look into the concepts that everyone and everybody looks into the one goal, that is the organization goal. Only then the decision that would be made would be successful. Then why is that organization decision should be considered? We need to consider the complete parameter of organization decisions in order to overcome all these problems. So when we take about a person in a particular organization makes a decision, there might be no for the decisions, means execution, there might be oppose for the decision for the execution because of the hatred in the organization. In these cases, or the difference of opinions might be occur. If there are two managers at the same level, we cannot expect both the managers' decision and the opinions would be the same. There might be a slight difference of opinion with respect to decision. In these cases, the ultimate loss would occur to the organization. So it is better for the organization to make a decision so that everybody in the organization, irrespective of hierarchy, they execute those decisions and the overall achievement with respect to performance and attaining the goals of the organization could be achieved. This is about the organization decision making. Next, we look into the MIS and decision making concepts. MIS and decision making. In one of the session, I had given an equation which proves this statement. I'll write this. Data is taken by the MIS system. When data is taken by the MIS system, the output would always be the information. Then, when we say the output is information, it is nothing but it is providing a support for decision. So, this concept holds good for this title, that is MIS and decision making. Because look into the concept, it is very much necessary to understand the concepts of decision making as they meet the relevant design in MIS. When we look into the concept of design, the professor Herbert Simon, he has described a predefined model for designing and decision making process. So let us look into that concept and go with the different flow. First is intelligence. And next, it's design. And finally, we have a choice. Now, with the intelligence, when you call about intelligence, it is the information or the knowledge acquired by the person over a period of time with his experience and different cases he has encountered and providing solution. With this intelligence, The person looks into the situation, what is causing the problem or what is that parameter that has put him to make a decision. So he understands the situation properly and also the problem causing element. When he knows the situation, when he has understood the problem causing element, then he frames a design. When you say he is framing a design, he is providing a solution or he proposes a solutions. I am using the word solutions, means he is providing n number of different options. Plan A, plan B, plan C. Means he has different approaches or he has different plans to tackle the problem. Where in the design phase he does this. He plans a lot of things where MIS helps here. Because MIS has a lot of intelligence. We also call this MIS system as intelligent system, since it has lot of data where data has been converted into information. With the information we are able to analyze what is the situation and where it has gone wrong. And when we know about where it has gone wrong, even it helps us to frame the solution. In other words, it helps us to design the various solutions for the problem. So when various solutions are there, then the real problem comes up. Which plan to choose? Or which is the best option to adopt in this situation. Now the concept of decision making comes into the picture. Now we need to look into such a way that each plan should be analyzed properly. What are the merits and demerits of the plan? We need to look into it before execution. Now the real risk of executing is given to the managers. That's why manager role is a key role. The manager is his own responsibility. If he is about to take risk now here, if anything goes wrong, he will be held responsible. So manager needs to choose here, where a lot of designs are here, he needs to choose one such design or one such pattern of solution to tackle the problem that is causing. Now, if the problem is right, the execution would be fine. If the choice is wrong, he has to go back again, choose the other option. If all the designs or patterns or options are getting into failure situation, he needs to reanalyze again. Now, it might be a choosing other pattern or redoing the work. These two tasks, if it is repeated, it is at the higher cost. He has to bear the things. The company might go into a different situation during this transition of different designs and again redoing a work completely. So this is what Herbert Simon says. The designer has to design a variety of options for that the managers to provide, to choose one best design or a solution to tackle the problem. So this is what we deal with the MIS and the decision making concepts. In addition to this, there are several models that provide the generation of design methods. So when we talk about several generation of models, so how do we generate? It is the past experiences. So a manager might have encountered a similar kind of problem over a period of time. So his experience or the same situation what he had encountered few years back or in a previous thing, it could be recalled, and the solution that was used to overcome the same thing can be incorporated here. The choice is the pattern. Choosing or making the decision is the key role. To do all these things, MIS is the system. This is the solution that provides, that helps the organization to make the things. And secondly, when you talk about these things, the concept of program decisions. So what do you mean by that? Programmed decisions. What is this program decisions? A program decision is a finest tool where the availability of the MIS design comes into the picture. What is that? We know that MIS systems gathers all the information, and since it has gathered all the information, it is an intelligent system which provides information, and also it can provide a variety of options to solve that problem. And if the person or a decision maker leaves the option for the system, or he programs the system so that the system can make its own decision looking into the various situation, then that kind of system is called programmed decision making systems. But here the information is gathered by the MIS system, choice is also designed by MIS system, and the execution of decision is also done by a MIS system. But we should keep in mind, it is the choice is given by the decision maker to the system. So the responsibility of going right or wrong is held for the managers. Though the system is making, I am repeating it the concept again, though the system is making the decision looking into the situation, the manager will, or a person, the decision maker, he will be held responsible for the any right or a wrong consequence. Second one is the non-programmed decisions. When we talk about non-programmed decisions, where it continues till this stage, where the system and the problem is analyzed by the MIS system, and looking into the analysis, it provides various options of the design, and it also prompts the decision maker to choose this would be the ideal solution. Yes, but ultimately the system would not make a decision, whereas the choice is given to the manager who is been designated to make the decision. So in this case, the decision is totally done by the decision maker, that is the manager. So we call that kind of system as program decision system. So when we talk about MIS and the decision making system, the MIS system totally supports the process of making the decision. This is supported by the model. We call this as conceptual model of decision making system. It is also proposed by Herbert Simon, and most of the time it is also called as Herbert Simon model for decision making process. So this question is have seen this question occurring in the examination question paper many times for 8 to 10 marks. So this is of very high importance with respect to examination view. Next concept. Next concept, what we deal is the information, knowledge, and when these two things, the third one is obviously the business intelligence. Now let us start our discussion with the concept of information. In the MIS, a clear distinction is made with respect to data and information. In the beginning of the session of the topic with respect to MIS, I have given you the differentiation between the data and the information. And again, in the MIS system, a precise meaning is been given to the process of information. Means information has a precise meaning which is different from the data. When we look into the concept of data, it is raw material, raw facts and figures, whereas information is considered or compared to the finished products, okay, which provides a detailed information. Next, information provides you a value, whereas data is just the facts and figures, whereas information provides you a value, means it helps you to make decision. When we call it as a value, means you can make decision. Let us consider an illustration. Okay, now my friend tells to me in next 2 hours there might be possibility of raining outside. So what I do? I take it as a data. Fine. Okay, there might be rain, there might not be raining. Now I look into the information system. When I call information system, it might be any system. So I look into the information system of weather forecasting, and it says it is 100% it would be raining in next 2 hours. What I do now? The second the message what I got is nothing but an information. It induces me or it initiates me to take some decision. What is that decision? In next 2 hours, I would be going out. Since I have got an information, I did not get the data. I got an information from in my system. It is saying that in next 2 hours, 100% it would be raining. Now I make a decision. I am supposed to carry an umbrella so that I don't get wet outside after 2 hours. So means in any of the business, information has its own value. When we talk about value, it is nothing but it helps you to make decisions. What is the next concept of information? Information brings clarity. What is that clarity? If someone says there is some strike going on in that road, it is uncertainty. There is no clarity in that. Means someone says on the street, if I am going there is some strike going on. Whereas if a policeman says there is a strike going on, don't go in that road, go in this in the other direction, means he is providing a clear information stating me all the uncertainty and the other things has been removed, and the clear picture is given by the policeman, so that uncertainty is removed. I am supposed to carry or make a decision to go in this path rather than the usual path. Means what is that? Information removes the uncertainty. Information provides much more clarity to the organization. And also, why do we call the humans as intelligence? Humans are said to be information processors. Data processors and intelligence with respect to information deriving. We call humans as intelligent human beings. Why do we do that? Because of intelligence or with respect to given by the MI systems. Means if information is there, he is able to make decision. Means information makes human a very intelligent human being. Next, there is a clear distinction. We should never forget when we talk about the MIS concept, distinction, very far off distinction between data and the information. This is what we were going to with respect to the information. Then let us look into some characteristics of information here. What makes something or some information is called it as an information? There are few characteristics, that is 5 characteristics. What are those? First one, information improves the representation of an entity. When we call it as a representation of entity, it is talking about a particular thing. Means you know much about things. If I ask you students, tell me something about your brother. So you start from his birth and till his current situation, you describe lot more thing and you say that, sir, time is not sufficient. Why do you say that? You have lot of information gathered, lot of data. You convert those data into a productive, informative with respect to a presentation, and you can talk about your brother or a sister, a father or a mother for a long period of time. Suppose if I ask you to talk about some person who you see outside, you say, sir, I don't know about that person. I have hardly seeing him now. Or, sir, I might be seeing him twice or thrice. I don't know anything about that person, so I am not able to speak about that person. What is that? Here, you know an information. It improves the responsibility of representing an entity. Means it improves the knowledge of entity. This is the first characteristics. When you got an information, it improves the representation of entity. Means you can gain much information about that. Second one, updates the level of knowledge. Why do you listen to the news? Why do you listen or read into general knowledge books? When I ask this question, you say, sir, enhance the knowledge. How? You are acquiring lot of other information from the outside or environment, so that you deposit in your repository, and whenever there is a situation, you put those information and execute it. So information would enhance the knowledge level. This is the second characteristics. Third one, has a surprise value. Yes, Data is nothing but facts and figures. I already said there is nothing to play with those data. It's just a representation. Oh, this is this, this is this. Whereas information is something that you get after processing. Whether you don't know what would be the output, but you get something. That is called a surprise value. There are two kinds of things when I talk about the surprise. So after the examination, when the results come up, you students say, sir, I am very much surprised and shocked. Why? I had written for 75 marks, but only I got 65 marks. Because I am very much shocked with this. I am surprised. How did I get only this much? There is another set of people who says, sir, I wrote for only 60 marks, but I got 68 marks. Even they are surprised. In the similar way, information always generates a surprise value. Means you are not aware of what would be the output, but whatever might be the output, that is the informative things. Next is, it reduces uncertainty. When we call about, I have given the illustration just now, it reduces, how does it reduce uncertainty? Uncertainty means you are able to clearly distinguish what is needed and what is not needed. Means uncertainty to certainty. Information would lead you, if you are in a situation or dilemma situation, what to do and what not to do. If you have a right information, that situation can be overcome from uncertainty to a certainty. This is the fourth characteristics of an information. And finally, the fifth one, aids in decision making. What is that? Aids in decision making. Information will always help you to come out with a decision. Remember, though many of the times you think that this is the information I got, but still I am not able to make a decision, then obviously what you got is not an information. A right person, if it's given with the right information, obviously he would be able to make the decision in a right time. So this is the importance of the characteristics. So these are said to be the 5 important characteristics of a decisions or information with respect to decision. Now first one, what is that first one? It improves the representation of an entity, means you will be able to completely represent because you know about it. Second one, updates the level of knowledge. Third one, it has a surprise value. And the fourth one, reduces uncertainty, means you are totally directed from the level of uncertainty to a certainty. And fifth one, it aids or helps in making the decision. So when we talk about the information, these are the 5 qualities or the characteristics, or this might be the combination of these things. When I say any one of the characteristics is there, it is an information, or the combination of one or more or all the 5 characteristics are present, then that kind of thing is said to be an information. So we should be very much aware. So I would like to read a beautiful definition that is given by the Professor Davis and Olson. And also I would like to represent the definition in the form of equation. Look into it very clearly. I'll read it. Read the definition. Davidson or Davis and Olson describes the information as a data that has been processed. Now look at this. He describes information as the data that has been processed. Now we'll draw this. What is that? The data has to be processed. Data has to be processed as per Davis and Olson. Now we do processing. Now let us consider it as a black box. We are least bothered about what kind of processing that would happen. So I'll continue with the definition. Data that has been processed into a form. Now after the data, it is been processed into a form that is meaningful. Now first one. The first parameter, the first thing as per the definition, data if it is converted into meaningful. Second one, it should be realistic. That data should be real. Means it is not just exaggerated or a fake kind of things. Then the data should be with respect to the current value. It is not that some value of a previous thing that has been produced. Current situation, based on the current situation, the value is been given. And also the perspective action can be taken. I'll write here. Means it is in the form where it induces a person to take some action, or finally with this, if he is able to make decision, then that is said to be the information. Professor Davis and Olson very beautifully defines information as a data after processing, if it is able to provide the information in the form, or after processing the output is in the form of a meaningful way that the recipient needed it. Means the receiver or a person who is about to get the thing is required with his own format or a form. Then if it is with respect to realistic, the output is with respect to realistic in nature, and it has the current value. When I gave you the equation here, the value is nothing but decision making, able to make a decision. And if it has a perspective action, means that induces a person to do something, is called an action. And finally, if it is helping a person to make a decision, then that kind of thing is said to be an information. This is what Davison and Olson has been described with respect to an equation. So by this, I would like to end up this session. Before ending up this session, I would like to summarize all the concepts that we have gone through. First, we have seen about the organization, where a lot of behavioral concepts that make the changes we have gone through. Then we have started with the organization decision making, where we looked into the concepts or various parameters that are associated. Here the main parameter is the individuals, because we have n number of individuals with n number of positions, and they enjoy their positional powers, and their responsibility keeps on varying. And how do that? How overcome those things? We overcome it with respect to the organizational level decision making, not at the individual personal level. Second one, we saw about the MIS and decision making system. What is MIS, and how does MIS provide a wide variety of assessing the problem? And also we have seen as the MIS provides the complete set of choice to make a decision. When you have complete set of choice, it is next the criteria of choosing one among that. We saw that how MIS system provides that. So with the help of a Herbert-Simon model of decision making process. And finally, we saw about in the same case with respect to program decision making, where the decision making concept is totally given control to the MIS system itself, where MIS system makes the decision. Though it is making the decision, manager or a decision maker is held responsible for the consequences. And second, we saw about the non-program decision making systems, where complete analysis is done, complete range of solution is given. After that, the manager or decision maker is allowed to make a decision. And then we have seen about the information concepts, where we saw about what is information, how the data has been processed, and we have seen about the Davis and Olson's definition, beautiful definition, how does it define the information, and we have seen about the various characteristics of MIS. What makes the information adequate, and when do we call the information? Those characteristics we have seen. So by this, we would like to end up this session here. Thank you very much.